Welcome in one and all. We are kicking off the ECL playoffs here. Europe getting underway. Neo and I were on Asia a little earlier on, but now we are indeed into the big leagues, as it were. A lot of competition, as always, in ECL. Not quite sure what is going down next year, of course, with the ESL Pro Tour, but all the same, I'm sure winning out ECL is going to give you some good credit with that circuit. Either way, we are into our A Stream BO3 here, and it is a bit of a banger matchup. This is one that I maybe expected to occur a little further down. We've got Sangal, Sashi to kick things off here. I think we can sort of talk over the groups as well and how we ended up getting here before fully breaking this one down now.
Yeah, absolutely, right. I think, we'll start things over with sort of how things work in the low group, we like to call it, right? Of course, it's sort of how things are. It's low, medium, high seeded group, and it's just the ultimate, the easiest way of kind of putting it. Gun 5 and Apogee, of course, to stay in ECL, and you can see all those teams that have been demoted into either advanced or into the relegation stage, so to say. That's sort of how it works in the low side of thing. Of course, kind of where, you have teams like Para, who actually did well at the start of the season, then obviously ended up disbanding as a team, so they forfeited their game in a way. So Rebels got a bit of a run, but then they lost to Batera, and it's kind of weird because, they struggled this season, but then, they've got the Elisa LAN coming up, for example. So it's kind of one of those slightly weird things, but that's how things went over, obviously, in that low group. Good to see, I think, for Apogee in particular, they did have they're a team we've always kind of been around for a while. Same with Batera, we've seen them for a while. Gun 5, we've seen them for a while. These are teams that are always kind of been in and around, and moving towards the mid group, similar sort of vein here. Nine Pandas and Paravision are the two sides to make it all the way through. And quite interesting as well, the Nine Pandas one to take down Bait of all teams.
Yeah, that's true. That is very, very true. I think very surprising stuff to see them find that kind of distance. Nine Pandas, of course, going through a few changes recently and whatnot, so not quite the team that made it to the RMR and then had to dip out and all that kind of stuff, right? So, I think the mid group looks pretty interesting. Sinners also going down. They've been on a really good run of form recently, so not seeing them in the playoffs is maybe a surprise. But yeah, this sort of format, I think it's good once it gets fully fleshed out. It's a little difficult to follow when it's happening, but we've ultimately in Challenger League lent in the direction of increasing the amount of games. It's probably something that, a lot of the teams wanted, because, your other tier 2 tournaments within the space, your CCTs, your Yalas, all this sort of stuff, they have much longer stages, it feels like, right? And
yes.
For a time, while they were going on, we had ECL where it's like, okay, you're in your group, you lose 2 BO3s, and you're out, right? You're either in relegation, or God forbid, if, you perform really poorly, you might get insta-relegated. And it was pretty savage for a few seasons there. So I think this way of doing things, although might take a bit more talking about how the format works for you and I think from a player standpoint, it makes a bit more sense for sure. So I can kind of get behind it. But yeah, there have been a few sort of surprises in places as well, and this is where things start getting very, very interesting, of course, is in that higher group, as it were. So as you can see, these are sort of all our qualifying teams, and ultimately we'll be seeing a lot of these names over the next few days and how they're able to perform. A lot of different commentators and whatnot going to be involved, so many different opinions, I would imagine. The big ones to look at, of course, are Saw and Amiga, who skip through to the upper semi-finals, so they have a bye, of course, and a bit of a day to watch things over, which is really quite nice there. But not too many surprises, I would argue, in the upper group there.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, this is sort of, I think, actually in the order that they're in as well, especially when you look at kind of that lower bracket of kind of Aurora, Paravision, Zertanati, Nine Pandas. They are what I would assume to be the lower bracket teams. And in the upper bracket with, Sora and Amiga, obviously have already gone through, but having Sangal, Sashi, 3D Max, TSM, these are all the teams that I would expect to be in the upper bracket. So it's played out. I mean, if you had told us at the start of the year to predict your teams, we would probably, most of us who follow the tier 2, and that for those of you at home as well who are pretty clued in with the tier 2, I feel like we'd all sort of get the vast majority of these right in terms of who's upper bracket, who's direct to the semis. Of course, Saw's year was great, especially at the start of the season, and Amiga had just gone to IM Chengdu, for example, and obviously we didn't know at the time about them losing Flammus, but they've arguably even got better since losing Flammus, weirdly enough. So it is one of those where I feel like this has all played out exactly as expected. The only one I would probably say with recent form, and I touched them a little bit earlier, was just bait. I just always assumed bait would make it through and have no issues, kind of thing, being a playoff team, so to say. But yeah, can't win them all, right? And of course, they've got other tournaments that they can focus on. Because we're going to be touching on the Sangal Sashi game here in the upper bracket round 1, and I'm looking forward to this, right? This is two teams who've had actually both up and downs. You've got Sangal reigning champs. That's the main thing. Of course, for those of you who followed last season, they went through the lower bracket all the way. They were in lower bracket round 1 all the way and ended up winning out ECL in that best of 5. So they are definitely a side to keep an eye out for. Sashi qualified to multiple lands already this year, done well as a tier 2 side and kept relatively in the know, right, in terms of the upper echelons of tier 2. We have our one expect predictions, of course, coming in towards this game, and we're both leaning in the slightly same vein for this game, but for the overall, it's slightly different. I've gone for 3D Max with a bit of a 75% confidence, right? I just think 3D Max are a side who, if I'm like, what team is always at Pro League somehow? 3D Max. That was my thought process behind this.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fair enough. This maybe gives away, my prediction for the overall series, and I think you've hinted at it a little bit there as well. But I'm on the Sangal side. I think, as you mentioned, a previous winner, also another Pro League debutant, right? So, and they performed pretty well. They opened up against FaZe, turned a lot of heads. Everyone was like, oh, okay, maybe Sangal, that we don't really know much about, even some of the top talent working it, have not had a chance to fully track this team. And yeah, so I think they have my confidence. It's maybe not quite as confident as you, but still fairly in there. I do kind of like that. What I maybe would like to see him, and maybe we have to do a bit of digging or ask around, is where the other talent are at as well. That's obviously something that I mentioned a bit previously, is there's a lot of commentators that work on the EU products in particular. So it'd be very interesting to see which way they are kind of leaning. You've got Saw obviously looking good with their Cologne run, but then dropped off at the Atlanta Challenger. But I think Sangal, this is kind of their bread and butter, and they'll be once again looking to prove themselves here in the playoffs. But 3D Max, I can also get behind for sure. I think a really solid run of form for them, and they also tend to do really well in these types of important stakes heavy kind of qualifiers, as it were, quote unquote qualifier, when this is all said and done. Let's have a little check in with the schedule for today as well, and then we can get underway talking about our game itself. As you guys know, Sangal and Sashi for our game. We've got 3D Max TSM, also another banger over on the B stream, and then Zero Tenacity versus 9 Pandas will be that C stream game. And I do believe there is in fact another game, Aurora Paravision, going on at the moment. Not quite sure what's happening there. Maybe we didn't want to stream it because of course Aurora are playing at Res starting just tomorrow. So, how ready are they going to be? Have they got a setup to work with? Is it going to be a solid one? Is obviously the big question. But those are our 3 games. They're all being streamed as well. So constant Counter-Strike on your screens this evening.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly what we want to see, right? Multiple streams going, a lot of Counter-Strike to choose from. You could dip in and out when one finishes, move on towards the next. Let's hone in on our matchup here on the A stream of what we're going to be checking in with. We've already sort of alluded to the game we're going to be doing, but we're looking forward to Sangal taking on Sashi here for us. This is a real clash. Of course, we always want to try and follow those reigning champs as well. But I think with recent form and both of these teams having LAN experience, having the opportunity to sort of showcase what they can do at that top level, I'm looking forward to seeing if they can kind of replicate it back online with a bit of consistency. Because ultimately, that's what you need here in ECL. You can't afford to even have maybe even one off day makes your chances of making it through so difficult.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement for sure. I think that, again, it really could be a challenging kind of tournament, a challenging kind of run for these teams. But I don't know. I like the Sangal side. I think that they have been a bit of a ragtag bunch over the past few, maybe even years, you could argue. But very, very quickly, they've managed to pick themselves up and looking really, really solid. I think one of the big things when you look across the rosters, Neo, is the fact that Sangal don't quite have the AWPing punch that you'd maybe want from a team like this. And on the other side of things, although he's maybe not been completely lights out and insane statistically, Lucky is their best player on that Sashi end. So I think that this is something that will be really interesting within this series, is whether the lack thereof of a bit of an AWPer for Sangal, Sammy still pulls his weight. He's not like, a complete problem, but compared to their rifling prowess, I think it is something that maybe could be abused ever so slightly. So
it's true.
Yeah, I think that's maybe the only sort of angle that I look at the Sashi side of things to see what kind of game they're going to bring and the win conditions for them. We got the veto, of course, across the bottom of your screen there.
No surprises,
no real
honestly.
surprises coming in.
Yeah, that nuke is just being Sashi's map, right? This is the map that they have been the, like, I would say slight Titan killer. I think when they played up against big teams, that's the map that they always look towards. Anubis on the side, not only is it has it been Sangal's arguably best map for them, but it's such a punish pick over towards Sashi because they've been struggling on it. And then Ancient, it's a nice handshake. I mean, this is, if I was to make predictions of the veto all the way down, the only one I probably actually might have thrown in there might have been that Vertigo, but it does get banned in that second wave. That's also a good map for both teams, and maybe where Sangal could have said, we have a chance here, but Sashi play a lot more than Sangal, so probably didn't want to take that risk, so they go in towards that Ancient. We've got our predictions, of course, for this game today. We've slightly alluded to it as well, but we're both leaning in favor of Sangal. I've always got to back the reigning champs, but I just think, for me, the main thing I look towards is current form. Number 23 ranked team in the world. They've been on a bit of a heat streak. They have these odd games here and there where things don't go too well, but, best 3 lost towards FaZe, fair enough. Best 3 lost towards Heroic, again, fair enough. And BetBoom are not a bad team by most metrics there. As much as it's, I'm not a huge fan of that team, you can still, and you sort of have to give them that tier 1.5 Ghana, where maybe Sangal are just about still tier 2 at the moment. So I think for the most part, they've been putting on some really, really good wins under their belt, taking on big teams, beating them with relative ease as well, and I think starting to showcase what they've got in the locker. So for me, Sangal feels like the surefire, and probably one of the teams that, I went 3D Max as my sort of prediction, but if it was going to be anybody else, it probably would be Sangal.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. We'll definitely check back in and maybe keep a little bit of track on Twitter and stuff like this as well. So, if you are super in and concerned about how these players are going to perform, then, make sure you're checking all the socials and whatnot. I'm sure we might get a little bit of a post out from ESL as well. This is our player to watch coming in. I don't know, you were not privy to this, let's say, and I went for the xFloud side of things. So would that be where you would lean as well, sir?
Yes, I think so. I think just at the moment, he's just looked incredible. I think he had a lot to offer up over towards Sangal. He's been quite consistent as well. The other one that I always throw out there whenever I cast is Jota. I love Jota as a player. I just think he's so mechanically gifted, right? But I think you're spot on. I think xFloud's a really good shout. As kind of the player to watch at the moment. I just think as well with recent performances, he's been so influential. The reason they're being able to scalp big teams or even take maps off these tier 1 teams is down to the consistency we're seeing out from him. His impact is crazy. What he delivers in the server is fantastic. And he's not only just in terms of the frags, but he helps out in other ways as well. Supporting Yuto is fantastic. The space he creates is great as well. So I'm looking forward to see what xFloud can do in towards this. And I think, you touched on it where maybe you can make an argument that Sangal don't have that comparative AWPer in Samey, and say like he might not be to the level of Lucky on Sashi, for example. But I think the other side is I just don't think Sashi even remotely have the rifling core of Sangal, because even when you go past the likes of xFloud and Jota, I mean, Youngster, this Swede out of nowhere, has just been crazy good as well. And again, somebody who continues to showcase what he's got in the locker. So if you look at the core between Sangal and then the core over towards Sashi, it feels like a bit of a no-brainer, even if Lucky does pop off and win out that head-to-head versus Samey.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, you raise a very, very good point. Sashi maybe had a little bit of time in the sun towards the start of this season, end of last season. Ultimately, I think when they were kind of picked up by this organization, but they haven't been able to really return to that kind of form. Yeah, and I think that they have had a little bit of a drop-off. We see some of these teams that have their time in the sun, as it were, and then struggle to keep that consistency and maybe try and change things up. Maybe they just get overstudied and can't remain original. So we'll see, but we're into the action. This would be a great moment and a great proving ground for Sashi if they are able to refine some of that form from earlier on in the year.
Youngster, close with the Julies. What have you got for us? I'm trying to see, maybe. He's going for a bit of a solo pop here. There's the first. Tags the second. Swings back in for seconds, but he can't deliver.
going to go down. They have managed to get the numbers. Jota coming in behind on the dualies here. Not over-facing. Ready for that fight. Does so well to find Mister, but unfortunately can't get lucky, which, you know, felt like the easier of the two. Flash is nice. Frag's not so much. Sammy alone here. Trying to find this clutch. Knows the location pretty much of all of these players. It's just all about finding the heads. Okay, that is a weird kill to come in. To be honest, it felt like he wasn't even looking at him when he picked that up, but it doesn't make much of a difference in the end. Sashi will get that pistol. Yeah, good for them to take it as well. T-side, start well, find form, etc., etc. Everything that we want to see from Sashi. And, you know, for Sangal, it looked okay out the gates, but it just wasn't enough from us. We need to see them take a little bit more control, not allow Sashi to dictate the pace of this game. They're very good in this map, and I think Sangal have got quite the task to try and shut them down, but they have opted for a force buy here, so we'll see how this plays out for them. Yeah, we'll take a look. I mean, this round's super, super fast here from Sashi, maybe knowing the Sangal force buy tendencies as well. That's what this almost feels like, to be honest with you. Really quick execute, really quick moves, and they've already managed to get a man in towards heaven within 30 seconds, which is a crazy kind of prospect and probably something that's not going to be considered by Sangal at all. They are pack mentality. They are ready for a B hit. Up the ladder goes that MP9. Been heard. There's the Mac 10. Traded instantly, but yeah, there's just too much pressure outside, and Cabby does well. That second one especially is going to seal the deal here. Just Linus and Youngster remaining. Are we an LNZ or are we a Linus? What do you prefer? Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people do just call him LNZ, but yeah, Linus is his name. But then, and I think LNZ is the game tag, right? It's like, I'm trying to think. I guess it's sort of the one that I don't know why, but the one that comes to my head immediately is people calling Smooya Owen, for example. Sure. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, his name is technically Smooya if we're casting him. Like, so I guess LNZ is probably the way if you're meant to go, and it will be the one to fall right at the end there. Not the greatest of force buys as well. Only the one casualty, so not a huge amount really on offer, if we're being completely honest. And well, it will mean that it's a pretty simple start out the gates. Coming through, right? We get to once again showcase just how good Sashi can be on this map, and another prime example of it. Very, very easy T-side round taken. Map control, isolate fights, force over extensions, everything slots itself into place. So 2-0 should very comfortably become 3-0, as there isn't that much of a buy. One would assume so here. Still a few deagles. Money-making opportunity for the MP9 as well. Jota going to fake the drop down. You do have to watch out. Mister is on a USP. I'm not quite sure what's occurred there. I think he's been a bit cheeky. And it nearly backfired for him. Meanwhile, Iceberg looking for a head. No one giving him the peaks directly, so I'm hoping someone does go searching into this kind of outside stack. A bit of an uncommon approach. He's just making noise, really. Oh, it's a nice flash. Needs capitalizing on, and it will be. He was so blind. I mean, X-Flood, it took him, you know, 4, nearly 5 shots to find that. It was still enough. Lots of damage done here, Neo. This could get really messy as the bomb goes down. It's true. This is a little scrappy, a little awkward. Mister, with just that USPS and armor. We'll go now, pick up MP9. Weird round, and you can see them grouping up. There's going to be a pop coming out and a flash over as well. They start to flood in. Nice shots coming through, but Mister on for his flank. X-Cloud trying to do something tough on towards the bomb. He's all alone, and he hits a lovely shot indeed. He looks for more, waiting, and he's going to get another kill. So a pretty expensive round for what was ultimately a low buy, but it will ultimately be another Sashi round. Yeah, I mean, the 3-0 is pretty good already on the T side, of course. Great to convert, great to find this initial control, but it does hang in the balance. I think if they get a bomb plant here, they should be okay money-wise, but of course, with how expensive that one was, Sangal, in theory, if they win this, could make things very, very close and very uncomfortable for Sashi real fast. You know, you'll forget all about converting those pistols if you lose this one, so pretty paramount that they do take it. Quez with a nice pickup to kick off. not what they wanted on the Sangal side, you know. And Sashi playing a really good game here. Yes, they get a bit of a lucky spam there, but the outside control and also a change up in the energy. This is typically a team that you expect to approach things very methodically, very tactically, typically Danish, you know. Everything's got to make a bit of sense. There's a game plan to each and every step. They play that very, yes, it might be a little antiquated, but they do play that style that Astralis set out all those years ago, and this feels like a very different directive, to be fair, Neo. Much faster, and they're straight down on B. You can see Sangal just not expecting it this early.
Yeah, exactly. Can't complain. There's honestly a pretty strong argument to just save here, I think, if I'm being completely honest. I think that's the way forward. Yeah, well, slight extra kills coming through and one of pieces, but you just can't go for these lower side retakes. I think when you've got that numbers disadvantage, it's just so awkward. And fortunately, that's all we can really work with. They're going to come over and... For Cabby, they're hunting here. Why not? I mean, look, they've cornered them in towards this spawn position. They cannot do anything. They meet a shot from him. Oh, it's such a good hunt as well. It's such a good hunt. Well played. No one surviving towards Sangal. I mean, at the moment, they are getting massacred.
Yeah, for sure, man. And again, it just comes from this very, very simple kind of approach from Sashi. Nothing super advanced as yet from the sort of first 30 seconds. I think, again, potentially could have done their homework, you know, immediately into that force buy. They just went with the pace, knew that outside wouldn't be very well guarded. Then into that round, same kind of situation, outside not very well guarded. So a few uncomfortable players in that regard for Sangal potentially. Xcloud hanging. Not pushing it just yet. Looking for a good timing, looking for sound of a pin. It is being thought about here. Look, he's got his eyes on it. Oh, and there it is. That's the distraction. It does cost his teammate's life, but the idea totally sound, perfectly executed by Xcloud. He's dropped that bomb. Makes the situation really awkward out here. Gets his hands onto an AK. Needs some support. So, you know, he's trying to keep control of the area. Maybe take another fight to just solidify things. Potentially a bit early for my money. He will create the trade. Still that bomb that needs recovering. Still iceberg that is low. Could swing, but it goes the way of Sashi. That is the swing, I suppose. Jota now 1v3.
This is quite one-sided rounds, though, isn't it? I mean, I know we're seeing these kind of slight consolation kills. One's Jota positioning insane here. Oh my god, for a moment. For a moment. There was maybe I was about to eat my words, but I know we're getting a decent amount of kills here for Sangal, but we're not actually getting to the point of where it's like, wow, that round could have gone theirs. I mean, for the most part, we're dealing with either force or low buys. The gun rounds aren't as effective, and yeah, it's been quite scrappy. Sashi are getting such good outside control, and it just gives them a wealth of choices about where they want to play. Do we wrap back in towards main? Do we go down towards secret? This, that, and the other. It's been simple. It's been fundamentally quite easy, and it's been quite concerning. For Sangal, yeah, they're coming towards this game and they're not looking too good. So far, Cabby's having an absolute whale of a time as well. 9-2 for him. Really step up to the plate, especially considering on the other side, Youngster, 1-5, Samey, 1-5. They're struggling to get active in the way that we would sort of hope and want from them.
All right, let's see, man. This has got to turn around and turn around fast. It is indeed, as you say, really getting problematic. They know that something's got to change up, though. The lobby crunch coming in. Keep it simple. Maybe they're not confident with their outside hold, but let's go somewhere else that we do have more of that experience. Xcloud is here quick. He gets caught out in the open. Nearly a double for him. He certainly created it down to just Lucky now. Don't even get the words out. Bomb is going to be planted, but it costs Lucky pretty much everything. 14 HP. One bullet from any weapon should be enough to take him down. If you can take a kill with him, I think that would be the silver lining here. They're playing it super safe. They understand that on the Sangal side. They have to keep this as clean as possible. And there you are. The off angle, it works. He catches one back turn. Traded. But he'll be happy with that, man. It makes it expensive. We usually say 3 is that kind of bare minimum that you want to be on. Technically, on the CT side, it does cost you money if you survive with 3, right? If you go in for a full-in nades and kits and stuff like this. So, it is quite nice to bring them down like that. And, of course, getting that bomb plant's pretty good too.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I guess we're talking about slight silver linings ultimately, but all we want to see now is a bit of a run out from Sangal. I mean, generally, we always kind of talk about it. When we cast this map, if you can get 5 rounds to the T side, that's, for the most part, regarded as a pretty good half. And the fact that Sashi start out this game with that already gives us, you know, a lot of favor about them and how this map's going to look for them, and hence why we are a little concerned. I love this. I love that from Iceberg. Brilliant play coming through. Just a tiny gap in that smoke, and Sammy completely caught off guard. And Exile also spammed down. Him and LNZ are pretty low.
Not looking good now, is it? They've lost another player. So this continues unraveling. I don't know what you really look to do from here. They do have a relatively workable A hold. So it is probably face them on A or indeed save if they go B. There's not much more to it. Very slow approach once again from Sashi. They really do want to play that tight game on both sides. You know, very well disciplined here. They understand how important this one is. And as we touched on, yes, we're on the side of Sangal for this, but it could swing either way quite easily. And also really felt like a game deserving of the semi-final, deserving of maybe a quarter, you could certainly say. So the fact that it comes out this early is really difficult for these two teams. You don't want to be in that lower bracket early on. You know, you don't want to be going through the entire run of trying to recover your position. So yeah, the tension is definitely here for these two teams.
Okay, well, Sashi answering right back. I love this hunt. Oh my god, he hears the steps. So thankfully, he is sort of trained on the angle now, and he will hit that shot. Jota, nicely done to stay alive, I think, is the main thing. They wouldn't be able to reinvest back in towards that AWP if he was to fall. I mean, maybe actually Sammy could. He's on 3.6k. Might have to take like half armor, maybe a little less util, but ultimately it's okay. Quez and Cabby, a little bit of damage to the bomb, but another great round coming through from Sashi. So despite not being flawless, they respond super, super effectively. And I think that's exactly what we want to see from them. And where we're at the moment, I'm very worried about Sangal. They are just not really competing at the moment. There's not a huge amount on offer from us where we can say this is how they're going to, you know, answer back in this series on their own map pick. Even though their map pick is a little bit of a punish, it's still one of those where I'm a little concerned. Because Sashi just looks so crisp. It's very mechanically brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of an aspect as well that we handed a bit more to that Sangal side. But this has been a through and through Sashi map for a long time. And you can just see, you know, Sangal losing the sense of timing, losing the sense of almost direction as well. It's going to happen again. So they really are just being walked all over in that map control sense. They're making mincemeat of 3. Doesn't take a single point of damage from all that, by the way. Wow. Absolutely flattened. I think that Sashi are playing a really good game here on the T side of Nuke.
It is such a dire showing, honestly. What we've seen, there is just not a lot on display here, which has given us any sort of an inkling about how Sangal are going to effectively take down this Sashi side. Second tac ball is going to be used. Wowzers. I don't know what we've got on offer, really. This is a incredibly, incredibly dicey spot. I mean, even with the second tac pause coming through, something seriously has to change.
I know it is kind of wild, actually, that we've not seen like a lull from them to just sort of talk things over. I think, I don't know, are they potentially coming into this one just feeling that it is... I don't know that you'd say it would be a write-off, though. It's not an awful map for them.
Yeah, it's not, yeah.
So it does feel strange that they're not giving it the credit and yeah, talking things over, working it out. Yeah, very strange. Very, very strange in that sense, but rolling through the motions, hoping to make the rifle rounds work. And a slight change in the setup to just have some of that outside control that they've been lacking for a while.
Oh. X-Cloud, holding. What's on towards Secret once again, a smoking towards front main, but smart decisions being made here about when there's no contact and no presence. Let's just, yeah, really slow things down and not give them any sort of advantage here. And I like this. They're playing with the tempos a bit. You know, we've had quite a few quick rounds in a row, and this time, real slow, under a minute. And now they come. Pop's coming through. Molotov on towards top part and towards Mustang, and Youngster just deleted. Jota will get one, but the A site is open. There's a fence player, though. So keep an eye on that.
Oh, bomb plant. LNZ still not moving. Just waiting to see what his teammates can cook up. X-Cloud, he finds a kill that could be really important. Another mini smoke coming in. That's what he's kind of waiting for, LNZ, here, is he wants his teammate to draw the attention. But that is easier said than done. He comes in. That'll cause the burst. He's trying to use the smoke in his favor. They were, yeah, trying to throw Lucky off a little bit. He's actually managed to bring the numbers back here into a workable situation. Tap on the bomb. Mr. reveals his location. What is going on? What is going on? There you go. Sammy going to find it once again. He gets... Oh, my goodness. Wow. I was going to say he gets him off the bomb, but Jota saved his life in the nick of time. If he gets that kill, the round is Sashi's. Not going to be the case. Jota from heaven is the one that capitalizes and makes work of all that craziness.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, that was chaotic for a moment. For a brief moment, but a little bit of respite as well. Before, hopefully Sangal can put a few rounds in quick succession and maybe make something out of this half. I don't know if they've got enough in the locker maybe to be able to do it. Shall see.
Oh. LNZ takes a lot of unwanted damage there. Sammy going to take a lot of unwanted damage. Flames plus bullets is not a good combination. Not a very comfortable spot to be in, so... Big kill landing early on. And they are again panicking over outside. Quez with the double. I think that player at the back he was not banking on at all. A little wild. Didn't catch it from his perspective, but I think that's like a quick spray down and one of the bullets has just landed in the brain. Goodness me. Sashi immediately returning with something super dominant. The game just is not here from Sangal.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, and this is exactly the same thing we saw last time when they got their first round. It's just, it immediately gets kind of thrown back in their face, right? And that's the thing. Sashi is so good at just brushing off things like this, right? Where it's like, you know, we've lost the round. And that was tough. They just say, all right, on to the next. And they do it with ease. So really, really well done from Sashi just to never lose control of this game in the way they've been playing. And it's a really concerning showing from Sangal. And it does throw a couple of spanners in the work. But it's a good start. And LNZ and Sammy first. Oh my god, they're in the smoke. Oh, it's a messy spray. And LNZ going to get his and get the opportunity to reload too.
Should be able to get the bomb plant, though. Yeah, Quez is kind of alone. It's not ideal here. X-Cloud's close. Lucky trying to catch the rotator's not going to happen. He goes down. They've got to have a good idea of where Quez is at. Just be careful of the vent drop here. Yeah, LNZ a little carefree. Nearly. Bullets landed. Just needed one in the head, and that would have been a round on. Not going to happen. So, third on the board for Sangal. Again comes closer than, you know, you would have liked. 4v1. And as I said, LNZ just flying down the vent. It's like, it's not a hop, skip, and a jump to assume that that's the way that he's gone. He was definitely playing in towards single, right? You've got all that info of the site itself. So they lose a couple players. Not going to be the end of the world. We're right at the tail end of the half. But it just kind of goes to show a bit of the energy here from Sangal. They're lacking. They were looking really disciplined early, but it seems like it has petered out a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 8-3. Get a 4. Maybe workable. It's probably something we can go off, but... Oh, one through the smoke. Yeah, I'm going to say, I wasn't sure if he spotted the gun barrel there, but he does a great job. Another quick around towards our side. And Iceberg is so good at getting space here. And he will get garage control. That's a massive area to now have under his position as he wraps onto a secret. And he nails Jota against the wall. Brilliant stuff. Here's the tag of the Molotov too. They could get more, but slightly overextends.
Quez hanging, looking for a big opportunity here. Youngster's got his eyes on, but he's swiveling around and he gets caught on the timing. That might just be the round, to be honest. They are, of course, going to approach this, but lost control of A. And the two-man deficit, not good. Quez, first line, will go down. So there is that at the very least. Did he spot both? It looks like yes. Cabby takes the player at the back, sets up the one at the front. Saying he's hitting some clean shots here. It's a lot of work. And they are able to double face him, so not going to happen. 9-3 of the turn. Sashi looking absolutely brilliant. We'll see you in a few.
Gamma Doppler butterfly for 1,500 USD when it goes for like 20 grand plus or whatever. And he's trying to negotiate with whoever bought it, but there's no fucking way that person's gonna ever negotiate.
Crazy bounce moves.
Yeah.
I did see a lot of the talent like tweet about Mozzie's.
Yeah. Maybe that's it, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you get given like, you know, malaria tablets and stuff like that. I would imagine. But they're fucking
Oh, are they? Why?
Yeah, unless they've gotten better. But they give you like mad night.
Really? What the fuck?
Yeah. It might. This is like slightly older.
Yeah.
Come up with a better drug, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, they're apparently not fun to take like for the first sort of week or so.
Jesus.
Isn't great. So, and that dengue thing that's on about is like.
Yeah, what is that?
It's like a mosquito-related fever.
Eee. Coughing blood.
The only issue being that it's like I've just sort of looked it up a little bit, maybe a bit grim, but it has like very similar symptoms to malaria. So fucking. I hope he's alright. He's lost all his shit and also fucking massive. Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, when we were talking about it, like if he's lost his clothes or whatever, yeah, he might have to wear one suit for the whole event, but he'd be able to get away with something in Finland. Crazy.
Yeah, you really do hate to see it.
You do. Bless him. We are back into the second half here, folks. Sashi have been really showing Sangal who is boss here and may well throw our series predictions and potentially my overall playoff prediction
Yeah.
into disarray. We'll see. There is still the lower bracket in that case, but all the same, series-wise, this really is not what we expected. Sangal, though, on the T side, it's a fresh start, and they have dived down the vent, made it work on B, getting the bomb down here, loads of damage and kills coming in, and they just keep rolling as well. Lucky is the only one left. That's happened a couple times where I say one name, I mean to say two, and the second guy gets killed mid-sentence. All the same, Sangal buying themselves some room, and a really, really keen start to the T side here.
Lucky? Julie's? Anything? Yes. Two? Oh, yes, please. We'll take them every day of the week. It is just a save angle here, but we take them all the same. We're not going to complain about this at all. And it's a good round for Sangal, and a much-needed round for Sangal, but they require something quite special here. It has to be said in this second half. I mean, we need to see them probably start looking at, like, 9-7 maybe as a kind of a scoreline before we can start believing that they've got a chance in this. That's it. So, pistol, force buy, and then 2 or so gun rounds to potentially for Sangal to be in for a chance of making this work. And on the T side of Nuke, it's a big ask. It's not easy at all.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a tough battle here. They really have to deny away, like, saves and try and build up their own econ quite early. So it has to be a really, really, really clean run of rounds for maybe the next 3 or 4 at least, you would say. This one you would expect, but into those first couple of rifles, they have to dominate if they really want to turn things around here and, again, set that tone. But it's always a challenge. It is always a challenge. Slow approach here from Sangal as they're just feeling it out. I think they know there's going to be some kind of cheesy strat coming in.
All right. Top down. I'm close. Yeah, they knew somebody was sitting in/around Zenonzi for the first. Samey, one of his own. Second there as well for Xcloud. He makes a meal of it, but he'll get there all the same. The last man, he's spotted towards credit card, so he'll be dead very, very soon. It's enough. Nice and simple. Flawless taken by Sangal, and exactly what they needed. And now, once again, we can start discussing how we are going to get this side in towards this game. These are all the right steps are being taken here, basically.
Yeah, it's very true. It is very, very true. This is the first proper test, though. There's always that kind of randomness to the pistol, especially on a T side.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the Glocks can just melt you while they're running, and it's a bit hard to deal with. So we'll see. This is where we really get a good taste of what is to come. Sangal taking a leaf out of the Sashi book, actually. This is exactly how Sashi started their T side as well, was just super fast execute, super fast moves, remaining unpredictable. Breaking the smoke is not quite good enough even to give the info. Lindsay just makes it down. He's lucky to be alive. Not sure if any of that was heard. I would say not. Just too much noise going on. Maybe Cabby heard it, though. So we'll see. It doesn't seem they are super prepared for the hit downstairs. The bomb itself is not really joining those players. So this is an interesting round as it unfolds.
Yeah, no reactions so far. Just creeping out of the minute mark. What's the play? What is the play? Cabby looks towards our side. Now, with that flash, he knows that him staying tucked is so important. And actually does really well alongside Mr. Mr. can't get the third, but they've still got the numbers. For Sashi, this is a very important spot that they're in. They can deny this bomb going down. That'll be massive. And Youngster gets caught. Last man is Jota. Bomb on his back. He wants to get down bent, and he will be given that luxury, which should mean a bomb plant.
Not really going to be good enough, though. They needed the round, man, and it feels like a lack of confidence from the T side. They had a bit of control. They could have worked with it, but I don't know. Very strange. Very, very strange, really. And again, just speaks to the lack of the extra level here this evening. But, they do check the angle. He could have got incredible timing there. I think this was his play to try and work around ramp, which is a really strange place to have to fend off against. They're on the bomb. They've got the smoke down. Quez will take him from the side, and Sashi immediately in there with the rifles is not a good sign.
No, not at all. The fact that they do it, you know, quite comfortably, I think ultimately is the way to put it. Just, you know, only 2 casualties is all you'd really want to ask of them. Simple things being taken quite effectively, and once again, Sashi's going to get closer and closer to solidifying this map. And once again, adding to that kind of conversation about how good they actually are on Nuke. When we saw them make deep runs, qualify to lands, and do some quite spectacular things earlier in the year, a lot of it did come down towards this Nuke. It was always a map that they had in their back pocket. Very few teams permaban it too, so they knew they had that strength working for them. That's where, of course, things would always slot itself into place. Cavi goes outside. He has a look in. He had very good control. When he went outside, he was very good at finding space, and the CT side probably no different. He catches LNZ just a little bit, but enough to force him to pump the brakes.
Outside smokes. Once again, Sangal have to make this work. No room for error now. Fire creates a bit of room for Cabby to work with. A nice little idea. It's like, you know, put the molly down. Why would they have anyone in it secret? So, really nice, nuanced kind of play there. Working against the conventions of the game. Advantage now swinging in favor of Sashi. A lot of damage done to the Sangal boys as well. So, troublesome. Very, very troublesome indeed there. One chance at the return round seems to be fading away.
Oh, LNZ catches Cabby. Oh my god, these are some quick shots. That was Youngster actually sees that one off. Quez, he'll get caught. Youngster should be a freebie there. Mister, he was trying to play with the ladder. It's always a little awkward though. And it does not work out. 2 remain for Sashi, and I think it's safe to call this one to be a save script. It will be Sangal at least staying alive a little bit and keeping things relatively competitive. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but I mean, we shall see. Better than nothing. Then again, when they get hunted like that at the end, it does have some level of a knock-on effect towards their econ. They can't really afford to be dropping too many guns.
It is true. It is very, very true. So, yeah, light hunt, I suppose. One will go off. I was going to say a little close for Youngster, but he knows the numbers exactly, I'm sure. Trying to work on their boost at the end of the round. Not really finding success, but here we are, Sangal. They get that return round. Didn't look likely. It felt like it was potentially going to slip away very, very quickly for them, and, you know, we'd be moving into that second map. But not the case here. They buy themselves some more time, and it is the half buy around the rifles, so should be able to get another round or 2 under their belt.
Stop. Forward our side. Making a little move. Oh, up close. 5-7. Catches LNZ. Those 5-7s at close range. Always very deadly. And it does force Sangal to pump the brakes a little bit. That's now an M4 and an AK to work with. And, I mean, there's bits of armor here. This M4, if the USP takes first contact to draw attention, it could bait them in. It's a perfect bait and switch, but X-File for 2's big.
Yeah, really big. Really well done. Absolutely needed. They will bait things downstairs. You can see Sashi are not biting. However, Jota is in behind, and yeah, it could be big. He's spotted out one. Ready for him? Oh, it's just that distractionary little bit of noise. Youngster goes in, and he also finds the final 2 heads. We got some really nice shots being hit by these players now, finally coming alive. CT side just did nothing for them. This feels a hell of a lot better.
Only 3 rounds in it. Definitely something on the cards here. I like the ideas we set up here. If Lucky gets that second, I think the round's absolutely on. Where it could be taken quite cleanly, but I think Jota does so well in this one, just to make sure that lower control's taken. They can then wrap. and get a topside finish. But of course, that was a low buy. So Sashi, I think they ultimately don't care that much. It was close, but it's this round that they're really looking towards. They have to get a gun round solidly to get ever closer to seeing off their map pick. If they were to lose Nuke after the way they started, that would be criminal. Bobby Crunch, Jota for the first. And he gets away. Quez doesn't pounce to trade.
X-File creeping downstairs once again. Great success found from here in the previous round. He has full support. Team find on the first. Got to get traded. Ooh, the dink. Really could have made a difference if it was an AK. Not the case here, though. It probably will be another save from the Sashi boys. And Sangal are just managing to get a grip on this game now. It will be another low buy situation as Sashi have to just watch these rounds disappear in front of their eyes. Sangal scaring them now, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely getting to the point where, I mean, I really wouldn't mind seeing a pause. I guess that's probably one thing Sashi can kind of utilize in their favor. Pump the brakes and actually have a conversation here. Coach is starting ball. Caballero! Jota is so lucky. So lucky that he gets Quez there. He never should have gotten away with that, but we'll take it all the same. It will be a 10-8 scoreline. This is where, of course, on the other side, we can start seeing Sangal showcase why they're regarded as one of the best teams in Tier 2. This is pretty ridiculous at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of wild to see. It does beg the question where this was in the first half, and obviously they've not given themselves a lot of room for error. Saying that, they make an error immediately, right, in this half. You would argue first rifle round drops, and then they're able to stomach it, so impressive in that sense. Just have to keep this going now. Cannot show any signs of weakness, any cracks in the offense. Another low buy round as described for Sashi, so they will be just hoping someone walks into one of the areas they have bolstered up. Again, in particular outside. Surely got to start to smell the rat. It's been downstairs so often for Sangal.
Okay. Oh, shot! Once again, 5-7, close range. So damn scary. Iceberg will down, but LNZ other ideas. Beautiful work. Beautiful stuff there. Just to make sure there isn't that conversation. Youngster clearing every nook and cranny to make sure there's nobody tucked. Most worried, honestly, about that smoke. LNZ can't quite catch them. He does, just briefly, going up towards double door. So Youngster should be able to do a job here, but under pressure and lucky, doing quite well himself. LNZ into the 1 versus 1, flash round, and he wins it out with a big double. Sangal, stay alive. Oh, Sashi, what is going wrong?
Wild. Absolutely wild. I mean, I saw him with that flash out. I was surely not in a round like this. And he just, I think, manages to get the aim punch in there before the spray is cleanly connected. Chaotic round. Really shouldn't have come that close. I have a great crunch. Again, the coordination looks so good. Yeah, the bullets just weren't quite there. He landed one, and he was slightly off before the aim punch kicked in. Difficult, I'm sure, for Sashi, but at the very least, giving themselves some good confidence. It's going to be a fast A burst here, something very different from Sangal. Need this trade up top. They will indeed get it. 3 remain now for the CT side. Honestly, with how quickly it's unfolded, I think you have to save. And this time around, they decided to bank someone downstairs. They don't go down. It's a great read and a great change up from Sangal.
Yeah, it is. This is really, really good Counter-Strike being played by Sangal. What a response. What a resurgence. They just look so much more in control. And it's so weird in the sense of this is the most seated out of the map in the pool, and we're just seeing nothing from the CT sides. At least with a save for Sashi, there being 3 of them as well, they can actually rebuy around this. Loss bonus. And all that, it gives us at least something to work with bit of drop coming over. They still have an AWP in play, etc., etc. But the vibes are feeling very low over towards Sashi at the moment. I mean, they are losing control of this momentum so rapidly.
Yeah, wild to see. Very, very wild to see. And I mean, this is maybe that angle that we lent on quite a bit from the Sangal end, is that the rifling core is just so good. We've had xFloud finding some really key entries downstairs. Youngster towards the end of rounds looking really good as well. And they just are able to bail each other out ultimately, or trade off of each other so cleanly. And it's something that, when the peaks are coming their way, Sashi have not been able to handle.
Okay, Quez. Up close, waiting for that smoke to fade. It's a good angle, but very commonly flagged. That nade should do a decent chunk, and it does. Youngster takes 44 points of damage, and still semi-relentlessly keep pushing their way forward. These are some crucial rounds. If Sashi were to lose this, they're probably in a lot of trouble. The swing from Youngster is excellent, especially with him being tagged. He doesn't take any more damage, as it's just a pin-perfect peak. But Iceberg's also making a move of his own, and he might get a drop here. He's pincered in. He doesn't really realize it. He's got to connect, and he does damage, but it's still not enough for the kill. 5 versus 3.
They followed in his footsteps, though. Again, a really good read with that Molotov, man. The damage is there, but the kill's just not so much for everybody. It's even a team kill. They've done so much damage. The fire takes down Youngster. Absolutely wild. Sashi, you have to feel for them in a sense. Just couldn't quite get that last bullet. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Just needed one more to land. Lucky's going to look to save. And even that might be a challenge for him. They are tracking him here ever so slightly.
Okay. Lucky. One job here, mate. Just keep this AWP alive. I think he's going to be okay. He's just about slipped the net. They've gone looking elsewhere. And yeah, that'll be that. So, Sangal inching closer and closer to stealing away this map, which they had absolutely no right in doing so. Oh, hang on. Let's see. Let's have a little look in for a hunt at the tail end here. I don't think he'll get close enough in time. So, head tucked. That'll be that. First sack ball's being called by Sashi. Too little, too late, fellas? Who knows? But it is Sangal 2 rounds away from seeing this one off.
Yeah, man, crazy. I mean, timeout comes in, like you say, it's probably needed a bit sooner, needed to recognize what was going on. It's kind of a wake-up moment, nasty wake-up moment. Not quite sure why it's taken so long, but it has. And indeed, it might not have much of an effect. But it could also give them that one round that they've just been looking for, you know, to shift things back in their favor. Sangal, really great here. I will say, I think that the T side from Sashi, if I'm to give them anything, was incredibly clean in some of the rounds, really well played, but Sangal playing a much more brute force kind of style, and, you know, looking for those fights, grouping up. It's not super strategically in your face, but just winning out a lot more fights, as seen in that previous round ultimately. What is the change-up from Sashi going to be? Through the smoke, xFloud finds Cabby. The sense of timing is there. Iceberg trades things out.
Smoke. In front of main. Oh, hello. Bit of a lobby crunch, but Jota will just slip past. And now it's a case of, does he check this? Is there that spidey sense tingling? I think he's probably going to get cleared in a second here. Jota, yeah, back turn. Needs a dead man walking. Yeah, down he'll go. AK picked up. Sangal down to 3, but then look at Lucky here. He's tunnel vision, then he spots the shadow, but LNZ bails out his teammate. That is such a good way of going about it. Oh my. And now we can pounce down towards this lower site. However, Quez is here to meet them.
Youngster up top. Ooh. Awkward spotting here. Where the hell's he gone? Oh my god, that's so weird. That's unfortunate for Iceberg. He only saw one, wasn't expecting another. Mister could indeed go a bit crazy here. The plant is so safe, though. Right in the crack. And it saves Youngster's life, to be honest with you. Allows LNZ to spot him and finish him. Into the 1 versus 2. Where is Quez coming from? Where is Quez coming from? At one point was looking to be the hero. He goes up the ladder, hoping for a lucky exchange. Not going to happen. Sangal will hit 12. And this is getting absolutely ridiculous. They just cannot stop winning. Really, really clean stuff. 7 in a row now from them, Neo, as well.
Yeah, it is pretty insane, isn't it? What a showing we're seeing. Incredible kind of consistency that we get on the rounds. Another thing to mention as well, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but I have a feeling, yeah, I think these guys are on boot camp as well, the Sangal guys. I know Youngster, like 4 days ago, tweeted saying, you know, our boot camp started well, etc., etc. So I'm pretty sure they're on boot camp, and that's why, you know, at the end of the round, especially that one, when they won it out, there was a brief pause or whatnot. It's because, probably quite literally, fist bumps and whatnot. IRL, lucky. Gets caught, so does Cabby, bit by bit. Oh, Linus, no, that's not what you want. He fell off silo there. So down he goes. Iceberg, thankfully, gets dropped, and it's still down to 2 Jota. Right idea. Jota is so aware at the moment.
Quez stands between Sashi and defeat. Ooh, trying to take the fight. Wins it. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah, that's awkward. I mean, he's got to do something, right? A desperate attempt here, of course. Might be able to catch them off with this smoke plate. And he does bring it down to the 1 versus 1. Not ready for where Youngster's coming from, though. And, yeah, that felt like a sealed deal, unfortunately. And, wow, what a run. What a run. Sangal on the T side, able to turn things around, is just unreal. Absolutely unreal, sir.
Yeah, I mean, an incredible showing all the way throughout, just about how the resilience of the Sangal side, they never gave up for a moment. Right? I think that's the big thing for me, is that we did once again see where Sangal, they're so difficult to put down. I mean, that level of a half being put out by Sashi to 4 flat there. I mean, obviously we have to look at the other side and say, for Sashi, what went wrong? How have we fallen flat there? But a 9-3 half overcome and taken in regulation is just an incredible showing. A near perfect T side, it has to be said, and a fantastic display. And I think really worrying from Sashi about how they fell apart. But once again, there's a reason why we picked Sangal coming into this game, and there's a reason why we spoke about that Rifling Core, for example, who were fantastic in this game, and it was just a really, really good showing. You know, we spoke about kind of X-Cloud as well. He was our kind of a Kadia player to watch, right, coming into this, but I also touched on the other guy, Jota, man. When this guy plays well, every single time I call Sangal, I'll always mention this guy. He is mechanically one of the most gifted players in Tier 2, and he continues to prove why.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I think there was also, you know, some really hot moments. Ultimately, from the entire squad, Sammy was a little quiet, maybe. I think Youngster as well, particularly when they were getting that ball rolling. He had sort of 2 or 3 rounds back to back where he found a key couple of kills for them to open up a bomb site. There was the one time, you know, sort of down in secret where he was just able to turn it around, and they just lost that first rifle. So really, really impressive stuff across the board on the T side of Nuke. It's just everything against you. They lost the first rifle. Like, yeah, there's just so much against them. And they managed to bounce back. So really impressive stuff for Sangal. Can Sashi have that same effect now moving forward? So we're going to take a break and then we'll find out. Welcome back in, folks. A hell of a comeback there from Sangal to give them that first map. It is the steal as well, Sashi. Their shoe-in map, their most solid map for sure, maybe even by a long shot, you might say. And now we move into Anubis, which is kind of the same story, but for Sangal, and it's a much heavier punish. So, Sashi, it's not looking good.
No, it's not. I think when you kind of break down things like the stats and the numbers behind this, with how they responded, you know, we're only looking at one round out from Sashi in that CT side of Nuke. It's not good. The numbers aren't great. Everything doesn't look fantastic for them. And now we're heading towards a map, which we know Sangal are very good on. We know they've played it to a pretty high level where Sashi, they played it a lot. It's just they're not getting a lot of wins. But we've seen Sangal take wins against decent sides. They beat Fations 13-2, remember, back in towards Pro League. Took down FlyQuest 13-11. We're able to beat Bleed on this map as well. You know, I guess now unpaid. But, they're able to beat some pretty decent sides, scalp some pretty big teams on it. So already signs are relatively, I think, worrying in this sense. But for Sashi, the last time they played, granted, the last time they played was actually quite a while ago when these guys went head-to-head, but it was a 2-1 in favor of Sangal, but the one map that Sashi got was that Nuke. It's always been their map online, and unfortunately, not to be here. So, I don't know. I'm really worried. I'm quite concerned about how this is going to head out now. I feel like this is set up to be in quite a clean 2-0.
Yeah, I think so. Sashi as well have given a lot of energy to that first map. Maybe had themselves set on the victory quite early on as well. You know, they had a 9-3 half. They won the first rifle. These are all things that you look at that it's like, oh, okay, hard work is kind of done. And then not until 10-11 did they call a timeout. So I think the game just kind of got away from them and they didn't really notice until it was too late. And, Sangal had done enough and built up enough of an economy and all the kind of buzzwords and whatnot of that comeback. And they managed to fully mount it and they win themselves, I think, 9 in a row in the end. So really, really impressive stuff in that sense to keep it going. And yeah, I just don't know what to expect now from Sashi. I think this is a really challenging position for any team to be in, especially within the tier 2, especially when you don't have like that super deep LAN experience to call upon. Going into a map that you're not favored in at all, how do you bring it back, right? That's a question that me here, I can't necessarily answer it. That is up to you on the server.
Yeah, I do feel like we need to see it. What the mental resilience is like over on the flip side. We know that the Sangals is now tried and tested, is good, hence with what we just saw in towards that map. But it's looking at the other side. What have Sashi actually got for us to be able to try and respond in kind of? I feel like they've got to bring something quite miraculous heading in towards this game. I'm just, while we've got a brief moment before we head in towards, of course, our second map, just looking through some of the other games going on. TSM 3D Max is still in map number 1. TSM slight lead over there, 8-5. Paravision have taken on Aurora in that first map as well, 13-10. So yeah, woes for Aurora still kind of playing in. For them, they've still had their issues here, there, and everywhere, especially integrating Claxton towards that side, how they kind of fare without Result, etc. And unfortunately, they've still had those problems. And Nine Pandas have taken down Zero Tenacity. And speaking of Result, he's kind of the main man in that match normally, right? He's always the guy you kind of look towards. And off the back of that first map, exactly the case, 21 kills for him, top fragging in the server. So classic stuff coming out from Resol. So at the moment, things are going maybe not as planned in a way. It looks like just updated now as well. TSM have actually taken down 3D Max. I just wasn't updated there, but they've beaten them. So map 1 already in both instances, we kind of see where some of these quote-unquote favorites. I would probably say Aurora generally for me would be the favorites against Paravision, but woes there a little bit. And so yeah, who knows? We could have a little bit of a spicy ending to this ECL EU season.
Yeah, well, the mid group, as it were, made a lot of sense. The upper group made a lot of sense as well. We didn't have loads and loads of upsets going on there. So yeah, potentially towards the end here, and things have fallen at a very interesting time for some of these teams. Saw after the highs of Cologne, maybe not quite looking as strong, could be a chance for them to prove themselves. Sangal defending the title. It really does get kind of interesting, and I think Namiga have crept in as well, waiting also in the upper semi-finals, and a lot of people probably wouldn't have expected them to make that jump. Yes, potentially here in the playoffs, but yeah, making that kind of jump to skipping around, as it were, I think will have surprised a few people. So yeah, could really open up now, I think, after these opening maps, and we'll keep our eyes on it, as the evening goes on, maybe check in at the end of the day. Hopefully should be getting into the map here as well. Not quite sure what our hold up is, but hopefully not going to be too much longer, as we really do need this to get going. I think Sashi are trying to milk as much of a break out of it as possible.
It's true. I'm just looking at it now, and it's the Sashi guys who are taking their sweet time to get in towards the server. So classic in that sense. I guess trying as much as they can to have a conversation or a break. So I was checking. I'm pretty sure Sangal are on boot camp as well. So for them, really good signs. I think ultimately, right? On boot camp, getting ready for what could be quite exciting next year for them. I think they're, of all the tier 2 sides, one of the sides that have the most opportunities to play on LAN, and even towards kind of this tail end of the year as well. They've got, for example, Res, am I right in saying? Yeah, they're playing Res. They've also got the RMR, so they've got, this ability to play online, get ready for that tournament, get ready for the RMR as well. So all good to see for them playing very good. Counter-Strike, Sashi, something's got to give. They didn't look great, but they start on the T side.
Do indeed. Oh my goodness, It is a fast one for Sashi. The CT's doing well to defend here, both running out of ammo in this exchange. Jota trying to track down the frag. Iceberg takes him, could be a big one. Bomb's been dropped, and that really dictates where these fights are going to go down. It's all on Quez. He's been spotted out. X-Cloud doesn't need to go crazy and just make sure to confirm the kill. For a moment, Sashi were in control, but they strew the chaos everywhere. Sangal will find those fights and really look good while doing it.
Yeah. It's got to be said as well, for Jota individually, does really well for those first two, and then to stay alive to even do damage to the third. I mean, he never should have got away with that, if we're being completely honest. So, good little insight to what he's got to offer. Great start. Sashi, no bomb plot, not enough kills, means no buy to work with here. Sangal should get a 2-0 without breaking that much of a sweat, and just continuing their dominance so far in this series, which is, an absolute credit to them.
Sammy on the edge of the smoke, able to find the first kill. X-Cloud hunting on his own. Does have to be careful here, I think. Yeah, we'll go down. That's an M4 lost. Ooh, and a nice touch. Nice touch from Lucky to just immediately get rid of that. He knows there's nothing he can really do with it, and now they're like, where the hell's the M4? I just thrown it up here. Ugh. And you just can't... Oh! I don't think they got it. I don't think they got it, unfortunately. They knew what was up. They knew where it had gone, but yeah. That's an M4 lost.
It's true. It is true. It's I guess, a small kind of negative note in that sense. This first go-around for Sashi has to come in huge. If what we like to call the bonus buy comes forward and Sangal take it, especially if they do it with ease as well. Oh man, this is not going to be good. There has been some worrying moments and rounds at times. X-File playing anti up close just in case they went for a quick one. Does he want to fight here, or he might just wait for them to push him towards him? The Molotov will come down, a bit of damage. Mister pounces for the first. He looks for a second. He might just get to the MP9. I don't know if you want to stick around here. Nade again. Damage, but Mister delivering.
Big finds. Big finds. What can the B defense do? And I say that like it's multiple players. It is just going to be Youngster here. Flash to slow them down. Tries to make a play. Flash a bit too obvious, unfortunately. So, did he need to survive? Did he need to make a play? It's obviously very difficult to say here. Jota and LNZ do have a lifeline in the fact that the bomb is not here near B. So the smoke's going to go down. That gives them the chance to move in and maybe find some control. Maybe find a kill back. It will be seen. And unfortunately, LNZ goes down super early in this proceeding. Nade does bring it down to a 1 versus 2. Fake out on the bomb. I don't know exactly where Jota is. Can't really reposition from here either. Big nade. That's going to leave him worse for wear. Just trying to get the fight. It's not going to happen. They'll double swing it and take him down. So Sashi on the board early.
Yeah, good to see. Great to see, in fact, for Sashi. Respond well. Make sure that this first gun round sticks. You know, will be that investment coming through. We're going to see the AWP in play too. All the things that we definitely want to see. But Sangal, you lose this, and it will allow Sashi to build something on that T side. And of course, this being the most CT-sided map. We've gone for the most CT-sided map in the pool, but both sides are very poor CT sides. Then we're going towards the most T-sided map in the pool, and we have to look at the same vein about what those T-sides are going to look like. In particular, of course, for Sashi Youngster. Lots of damage dealt towards him, but he still remains alive just about.
Which is pretty key in a round like this. Sangal obviously need the numbers and the idea of a defense. Sammy scared off the angle. Will flash in to just try and slow them down and allow himself time to reposition, but they know where the AWP is at now, so probably not going to want to mess with that. Especially because, though it's a difficult econ to read, they'll know that the buy is not the best if there is one. LNZ the first to lose his head. M4 recovered. Quez got the right idea. Xfloud just goes down to another player, so 5v3 straight out the gate here.
Yeah, not exactly what you want to see. Sammy. We'll join up. The gamble stacking B. I like this call. I think when you've got to a position like this, you do have to make a bit of a gamble. This is one that could pay off because they are looking to finish in this direction. Whether it's a read or a bit of fortune, we'll have to see. But so far, could still have a bit of a possibility behind it. Flash over Jota. Full blind. Backside Sammy. Sort of blind. Gets his. And the swing from Jota is not good enough. They're all starting to play. Youngster left all alone. He's so low. And down he goes. Sashi, big second round put on the board. And yeah, money now broken over towards Sangal. So exactly where we wanted to see that response come through from Sashi.
Yeah, I think they've got to be careful here on the Sangal side. This is quickly looking like a good game from Sashi once again. Can't really rely on two insane comebacks, that's for damn sure. So I think maybe got to give them the respect. There's not really been much laid out once the guns have come into play by Sangal. So I would argue an early timeout. Maybe this is a bit too early, but you know, if you lose the next one or ahead of the next one, potentially go for it.
Oh. All right. Pistol. Don't count them out just yet, I guess. There's a Mark 10 to work with, and we're just sticking as a pack here, but of course the B site is completely barren. It's just about how many kills, how expensive can we actually make it.
We'll see, they might be able to make it expensive. Mac 10 looking for that kill bonus, of course. So I do like the idea, the pack mentality. And I think Sashi will be pretty aware of the fact that they have to keep this safe. Bomb pretty far ticked. I mean, you never know. It could be attempts at, like, the ninja here. They don't have loads of time. Yeah, there goes the 10-second, unfortunately. But they will, again, keep this pressure on, take another kill. Quez just spraying down, trying to stop them in their tracks. And, yeah, he can just run. The bomb takes down all 4 remaining CTs. Kind of hilarious to see. But at least a couple kills come round.
It's true. I think that's probably the main thing we were looking towards. I think just see if we can make it a little bit expensive. We've got nothing to lose. We've got nothing really to gain. We're not going to be making a round out of this. So let's just see if we can get something on the cards. Go for a gamble early, stick as a pack, and hope things slot itself into place. All right. Well, back into the investment for Sangal. M4's out. Good amount of util. No AWP. This one thing. So Lucky has the advantage at range. So see what Sangal tried to do.
Sammy tagged early. Dishes out a bit of his own as well. Pretty tense round here. This could be an opportunity for Sangal to just keep this game close. Really important that they do so. Of course. Oh, Iceberg. That's a hell of a shot. He does get traded, but I think he'll take that. That was a completely unchecked angle from him. Should have been a quick frag, but not the case. Quez has picked off Jota on B here as well. Not a dedication from the bomb quite yet, but it's problematic for the CT side.
Youngster. He was trying to play up close as well, but he goes down, but again, it just gets airburst. That smoke was just fading. Half a second later, and the molly does actually go down, but to be. Lucky wants to try and get active. His shot, dead man. 1 and 2 for Young to look for the third, but he's not given that luxury. If maybe Samia got something there, we could have been on for a round, but this asked a lot for xCloud.
He's here quickly. No kit, of course, so going to make it a bit awkward there. Playing together as well, which I think is the smart way for Sashi to deal with this one. Moving in quietly, clearing the entire site. He probably knows what's up. I mean, tap on the bomb, look dark. Hop, skip, and a jump. Nice angle for him. Quez still finds the head. Goodness me. Some luck in favor of the Sashi players here, but they will create their own luck in that round. Really well done to get in there, of course. And Sangal, I think, really stuck for ideas. I think this is where this timeout's got to come in.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I think you're spot on. I wouldn't mind just a brief conversation before the next true investment at the very least. We've got double MP9, CZ P250, small bit of util. Again, minimal expectations, of being completely honest. It's actually doing really well on the C side. Looking very, very good. It just shows how T side of this map actually can be. They make things look pretty easy for the most part. That's why we go back and say we wouldn't mind Sangal just taking a brief pause, but we know they can fight back from pretty big deficits as we saw in towards Nuke. So I'm not going to count them out just yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, right? And Sashi on the favourable T side, getting very, very close. Few 50-50s going their way in places. So if some of those swing in favour of Sangal, could be a very different story here. Trade not there. Still 2 members in on this B-bomb site, though. Nice find from Sammy. Goes a bit wide, looking for a bit more. There comes the distraction of LNZ. So this setup looks good. They're still committing. The AK does well. It's Quez again with the bailout frags down to just xCloud.
Yeah, bomb planted. That's that guarantee. xCloud has asked so much. Got a phase for a smoke. Just get an AK. Then gets tagged as well. Known quantity. Good luck on this one. Quez is a little bit tagged up himself, just shy of 50. I'm just going to opt for the tap on the bomb either. It's a really difficult fight to try and isolate. 1 to his left, 1 to his right. Has to be perfect in the swing, and he can't get either. It's an immaculate crossfire. Nothing you can do in that situation, and it will be another round for Sashi up to a 5th. And there we go, Script. Finally, we do see that attack pause come through in a moment. Then to have a conversation before going in towards a gun round.
Yeah. I think it's fair enough. It comes at a good time, you know. Obviously ahead of a key round here, and it is at that turning point of like, okay, we have to start putting something up. The excuse of T-sidedness can only last so long. I mean, I'm sure that's what Sashi was saying about Nuke, where they were like, oh, it's CT-sided, we'll be okay. We've had a great T-side, and you saw what happened. So, comes at the right time, maybe comes at the very final moment for a well-placed timeout, in my opinion. But if they can turn things around here, get themselves up to 4 rounds, I think that'd be pretty respectable. And then one more in the final few is also a decent move.
That's true. We'll take... I think, you know, with how things have been going so wrong, I think if they get anywhere near 5, we're relatively happy in that sense. Iceberg, xCloud, 1 for 1. Oh, no, xCloud just gets a little greedy, wants the upgrade.
Jota needs to win that. He does. Traded, though. Not ideal. Again, not quite tight enough. Maybe needed to move back. Really weird game state here. 2 versus 3, yes, but very heavily split across the map. It looks like it will be an A finish. But one wrong diversion. Okay, it doesn't go the wrong way. Lucky will take the safe route. I think these CTs have got to think about joining up as best they possibly can.
You're right. Guns picked up. Slight upgrades. LNC, big ask for him. But then he does get gifted that first. And the ability to reposition. 2 versus 2. Ram might be on a little bit here. Cabby is in that 1 bullet headshot range. LNZ, they know where he is. They can get a bomb plant out here. That, at the very least, is something to work off. but they're just trying to find out where's the second player.
Not easy. Not easy. LNZ waiting, biding his time here. He's just hidden away. They might not expect him. He's brought it down to the 1 versus 1. Did Cabby make a step, potentially? Oh, he's seen him now as he flies down, and he will find the head. Key frag. Trade onto the AK. Bit of positive energy here, of course. As I'm sure there's a bit of fist bumping, bit of cheering going on, and they will get the defuse in with the kit. Nice and easy. Didn't get the flash, but he gets everything else. It's all good.
Exactly. That's all you can really ask. Okay. Bit by bit, we do see maybe where this Sangal side can get back in towards this game and have a little bit of favour. And hopefully start building upon something. Well played from LNZ. You know, leading by example there. Absolutely. And might just be a chance at getting in towards this a little bit. 5-3. Of course, by, right back in for Sashi, plenty of cash to go around, and even in towards the next round if this was to go wrong. Don't count them out just yet is the main thing I'm looking at. But if we can see a bit of consistency from Sangal, maybe they make something of this half.
Potentially, X-Cloud in the wacky angle needed his teammate to provide a bit more, you would think. Samey with the AWP here. It's not going to be easy. Flash comes in, forces him off. They don't rightly know his location, but he's just trying to split the difference. Misses the shot. That'll be the save. Sashi right back on the board.
Okay. Simple stuff, isn't it? This is exactly what Sashi did on that C-side of Nuke. Really, really effective at just delivering back-to-back blows. And the second they use a round, they just take that form immediately back in their favor. It's really, really solid. And it is one of those where, again, it does make us a little concerned, potentially, about what Sangal have got up their sleeve. That predicament. He just is holding for Exus, and he might actually get a chance at something. I'll say that. He might be overextending a little bit. He has so many steps. Maybe a little giddy. He doesn't have the support either. He goes on. Ooh, nearly a couple more, but it's just not to be. Not enough damage to the bomb. Cabby and Lucky both get dipped.
Yeah. It's tough. It is tough. I mean, like I say, there's a few of these moments that Sangal are unable to seemingly come out on top of, which is a bitter pill to swallow. Looks like they're going to try and make this work. Okay, somewhere down the middle. It's one of those interesting economic decisions, I suppose. Jota could get dropped in the follow-up round. If Youngster saves again, I don't know. Maybe, to be fair. Iceberg, though. Double spray down. There goes the rifles. That was their whole game plan. Let's go double swing dark. Doesn't work for them, and that's going to be the round once again, unless Sammy can do something insane here on the other side of the smoke. He is revealed as the lights come up. LNZ in for one. That's all he's going to get. X-Cloud on the UMP. Was hoping for an A play. No one's around, though.
Yikes. X-Cloud. It's a lovely UMP, it has to be said, but it's probably not going to get much of a look in, or if it does, I don't think it's going to be too favourable towards him. Cabby. He's got the right idea. Shifting his way forward. He's keeping his eyes trained left. And if he does, he should clear him. Oh, just as he was about to clear him, he looks to his right-hand side. He flicks up and that cost him his life. So at the very least, the UMP does get some action. But at the end, he'll fall pretty comfortably. 7-3. Great work from Sashi. They've done all we can ask about them on this T side. Take a lead heading in towards that second half.
Okay. Sangal all about recovery now then. Certainly can give themselves something serviceable. Need the 4, want the 5. Obviously, but even as just a general marker for the CT side, I think 5 is where you want to be aiming. Realistic expectations and all that. Sashi, a really good showing here, despite what went down on the previous map, despite the history they have. Aggression in through main. Youngster for 1, again, sticks around for more. Sangal just not quite easing off the gas in the places that you want them to. 4 versus 2 now. It's another save situation. Not even going to be given that luxury, unfortunately. X-Cloud also taken down, and that's a disastrous round from Sangal.
It is. It is. This is really... Are we going to get a 9-3 again? I mean, this is where Sangal are looking very, very uncomfortable. And it's not what we want to be seeing from them. You know, we thought off the back of what was an incredible recovery that they would come in towards this, set the tone of their map pick, and look great. But it's just not been the case. It's been quite a dire display. And Sashi are on track for a very, very good end to this T side. And if they can get 9, they'll be looking incredibly comfortably. And see, he's going to get flashed in. No, he's actually going to try peek. There's deeper smoke for him to work with. Nade. Oh, he does get spotted briefly, I'm pretty sure, there by Cabby. He's going to try and hunt him down. Pop flash through. LMD up close. And he'll get his and upgrade to an AK-47. So, at the very least, it's a good start to the round, but a lot more than needs to be done.
Iceberg. Oh my goodness, he's been having so many nice rounds from this dark angle. Jota traded instantly. It's advantage swinging back for Sashi, and this is disastrous. They had to convert it like you said, and it looks like they're going to do anything but right now. Lucky keeps coming in, and even Mr. wins his fight as well. Another 9-3. Sangal, some wild rounds, man. Some really, really wild rounds. We're going to take a break. We all need a breather after that, I'm sure. Crazy. It's looking so good for me to make the quiz, man. Yeah, I just gotta take all the L's today, bro. It's unfortunate. Welcome back in here, folks. It's a repeat of that first map. Sashi with the 9-3 half. Sangal looking to run it back again. 2 maps in a row where they're on the comeback. There were 2 or 3 rounds in there for Sangal that potentially they could have had. Not too many should have had, but they'll still be disappointed in themselves. They weren't able to prove their prowess on this map, bro. This is supposed to be the punish. This is supposed to be the 2-0. Kind of in the back, to be honest. So, Sashi playing a really good game there in the first half. Execute coming in. Sangal looking to take the pistol. He will get that bomb down. One of those unicorn rounds you like talking about where all 10 players still alive.
And they come. Missed that. Should be first contact. I like that backside, but it doesn't work out for Sammy. He was just trying to buy as much time as possible. X-Cloud. How did LNZ get one? Tap on towards the bomb. Stick on towards the bomb. Hang on, this isn't a tap. We're in the smoke. We're holding this. They can't find him. Get the knife out, fellas. No way. He's still alive. Oh my god.
Oh my
Jota
god.
only just gets him off with half a second, maybe, on that near 10-second defuse. That was a great college try there.
Yeah, to be fair, and I mean, it's close, isn't it? Like, when you've got all the knives in there and 2 players trying to knife the defuser. They could have knifed each other. They could have got very confused. So they've done well, actually, I think, to not mess that one up. It looked like it was going to be the defuse coming in, to be honest. So, very lucky indeed. Could be the first step on the road to recovery here. And it's a shaky step, to say the least. It's going to be an A stack, unfortunately, from Sashi. They're going B. Youngster holding it down. Knows what's up. Finds himself 3 spots out that 4th as well. But look, he might just have slipped through the net slightly. Youngster, he's too smart for it. So, 4K on the eco comes in. Getting him some frags. He was a little lower down the list, as it were, in the stats. So, decent showing from him, but Sangal, of course, going to take the round. And now we look towards this first rifle for Sashi. What have we got?
Yeah, big question. What have we got? If Sangal win this, this is once again looking very akin to what we saw on Nuke, where you see this side spiral positively, snowball, and Sashi fall a little bit flat, and just showcasing, again, probably how T-side of this map can be, but Sashi, surely we can't be crumbling once again from a 9-3 lead. That would be such a bad way to go about things. Missed that. He's up close. He's playing anti as he waits behind this smoke.
Missed Oh, demolished. Great start. Good find for Sangal. They're now going to pick up the pace. On to B. There's still a couple players. Nice spam through the smoke from Cabby. Clearing out their angles. Iceberg goes down, and Cabby had to dip. So, advantage swings back in favor as this bomb goes down. A late smoke as well to cover things off. Not looking good. Sashi moved to save. Sangal starting their T-side campaign very, very well.
Yeah, it's happening again, isn't it? Bit by bit, starting to make a bit of a run and a bit of a showcase of sort of what they've got to offer up. This is, again, how good this side can be, right? We know that Sangal have so much to offer up, and this is where things are getting consistently concerning. You know, if it's a flash in the pan of a 9-3 loss, we're like, okay, it happens, regroup, reset, whatever. But if this becomes more than once, right? If Sangal are able to do it once again, you know, on Nuke, I said, for example, if Sangal can hit 9-7, realistically, they should hit 9-7 here, right? I mean, that's the thing we're looking at. I mean, there is going to be a bit of a buy to come through, but for Iceberg and Mister, what do we go for in terms of investments? Or are we technically semi-low buying before getting back into it? We'll see. But either way, it is a triple M4, double 5-7. 5-7s are quite scary, of course, as always, but still would require something quite poor from Sangal to let this one slip.
Cabby. Dangerous angle. Dangerous angle. Flash comes in. Oh, it blinds him. That's awkward, isn't it? Maybe not called out. Maybe thought it was going to... You know, the angle was going to keep him safe. So that's a bit of a whoopsie-daisy. But... no harm, no fouling around like this, I suppose. Big damage done to the rest of the board as well.
X-Cloud. He's low. But you want to say this round feels like it is sort of already getting confirmed in place for Sangal. However, with Gamble's lacking B, Bomb's going B. These can be quite precarious situations. LNZ's holding for the flank and holding for a rotate on the back of this B finish. But then again, Sashi is trying to get proactive. X-Cloud holding for this. Do they clear him? Does he? His gun barrel's going to block here. He probably died. Oh my god, they're not looking properly. He spots them. 2. Maybe not the 3rd, but they're going over towards the A side. And the bomb now moves his way into the B. If Sashi had just held their place and just sat still, they actually are in for a really solid chance of winning this round. But unfortunately, they get moving, which 99 times out of 100 is absolutely the right thing to do. But just this time, it works against them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They will be slightly upset by it not going their way, but these are the kind of moments, these are the kind of 50-50s that Sangal will need if they are to keep this comeback going. And so far, so good. This is looking really scary. Sashi have not given anything, to be honest. And even the save under threat. Sangal just relentless. Unstoppable right now.
Okay. Quez, he does stay alive. That's a small silver lining. But attack pause called in the same position it was called as well in that previous map, where obviously things ended up going quite bad overall. 9-7. Nuke. Sangal won this round again, and then we're able to tie this game up, so we get a little concerned whether things will play out in the favour of Sashi this time. I will have to wait and see off the back of this pause, but once again, it is a concerning position that we currently find ourselves in.
Okay, let's see. Gap has closed exponentially here. It's not quite done just yet. There is still room for Sashi. But Sangal, they know what they're capable of, and I think we saw it maybe less so on Nuke, but certainly coming into Anubis here this second half. They would have loved a few more rounds to work with, don't get me wrong, but they have a clear directive, they have a clear confidence, and playing a very similar T-side to that of Nuke. It's pretty pack-heavy, it's pretty individually based, and starting to see some of those same names light up the scoreboard. They've made their way through mid, completely for free. 3 of them contacting. Quez will take a bit of damage. X-Cloud picks off Lucky. There's a kill towards B, but that might not really have much use. Quez knows he's got to do something. Well played by him to get the man advantage. They can't find the trade. So yes, they've got the site. Yes, they've got the bomb plant, but the numbers look good for the CT side. Rotations are a bit slow. A deep smoke here. Really, really far back. We'll keep 2 of those rotations out of contention. They're going to opt to go through the smoke. It's nearly 2 for X-Cloud. Looking to pick it up here. Meanwhile, the main hit not looking good either. And Sashi, they were just completely dumbfounded by the way that that post plant had been set up.
Yeah, also, I should say, like, fantastically played from Sammy specifically in the second X-File Force. He reclaims that space and goes deeper in. And it just completely confides it to a raw 1v1 with LNZ, and he does very, very well. So, perfectly played, and, well, exactly like Nuke. 9-3 half, and now a 1-round game. And, again, not really too much of that investment to work with. We've got an M4, an MP9, few upgraded pistols, but it's actually losing control of this. It's quite drastic. It's quite poor how they've fallen apart, and they've just struggled with control in this game. Quez is trying to make a move, trying to do something, and Youngster tears his head off his shoulders.
Yeah, really solid find. Looking for a little bit more. Not going to come, but the aggression and the presence is certainly here. proving to be pretty incredible stuff from the Sangal side. They show no signs of slowing down, no signs of missing the key shots. Lucky has an opportunity to find two, can't quite get it. Iceberg with the trade. Oh no, nearly going down. 3-on-2, bomb making its way quickly towards the A-bomb site here. Iceberg shot in the back, meets his maker. Mr. Alone. And far away. 9th round bagged for Sangal. They have not dropped around yet on the T side.
Yeah, part of me would also say kind of, oh, may as well give this a go. It's only a deagle, but he does have half armor invested into it as well. It's maybe even just worth keeping all of what he got or picking up a gun, but those are luxuries he's not given. Jota drops him. 9-9. Wow. What a response again. 6 in a row out from Sangal and just a stunning showing of how solid they can be on this T side and how concerned we are about what is Sashi again. You know, they really looked lackluster on the CT side in towards that first map, and that's the same here again, right? They only got 1 round from 9-3 half, just the 1 round on CT, on Nuke, their map pick, and so far they're yet to even get around here on CT. Youngster, love the aggression. It's LNZ who actually gets the kill. I think through Youngster. No, he managed to go through the box, but it was a wallbang of some sort. I wasn't sure if it was through Youngster, but he hasn't actually taken any damage. That's an opener towards B. Jota needs to be careful from afar. This timing is good. There's one, and he has X-Cloud in support too. Perfect little work there. And then now knows another one up close.
Sashi kind of falling to the same errors that Sangal did on their CT side as well. The bits of aggression not really looking all that good. X-Cloud, 2 nade, 3 nade. There's no one there, bro. No, I like the idea, though, to be fair, and just keeps that pressure. And it might also, this is one of the things where it might sell that there's a lot of presence towards mid. I think with Lucky spotting all that out and being like, okay, these nades are clearly staggered. He knows what's up. He's going to take Jota. He is the lone A defender for the time being. Really not an ideal position to be in. He's so blind. Edge of the smoke business here, but they're ready for him this time. It's all Cabby. 4 to find in total. Drops the bomb. Low on ammunition here, though. Low on HP as well, so I don't know about him. Smoke doesn't quite land the way that you would want. The Cabby's had to give it up, and he might just back off, to be honest.
As unfortunate as it is, but 19 points of HP. Smoke flash, and now with the AK. And where he's heading, you're right. We are calling this. Another save to come through. Sangal just continue to tear. Double digits. First had to crack into it. And oh, how things have gone so south for Sashi. I mean, what has gone wrong for this side? It's not over just yet, but it's getting mighty close, that's for sure. LNZ, next up, they'll keep on what they've got as well. There won't be too much of a fight at the tail end here. So, stunning work. Again, and also to recover that round just for a moment when things look like they're going a little bit south. They manage to recover them back in towards their favor and don't get drawn into fights that they don't want to be taking. Sashi, what are we going to be doing here with that saved AK? I'm looking like a minimal investment, but it's a half buy. Sticking above 2k or in around 2k, but not committing to the investment itself. Time's running out. I feel like Sashi, sooner rather than later, we've got to start taking some risks.
I mean, they tried in the previous round, though, with the B main push, and it just got shut down, so it is tough for them. Iceberg's position could be a risk. They're going to move through the smoke, try and find him. It's well played and well read. X-Cloud's gone super deep for that kill. And yeah, just, again, relentless all over. Communication, absolutely perfect from Sangal. They were in, not a full-on stack, but a well-defended B-bomb site. And they get the better of it. They only lose the 1 player.
Samey, he's got the right idea. Stays trained. Does Lucky even look in here? I mean, I guess there's the other side of they're gonna have a buy-in towards the next, but man, this is just going from bad to worse. What a showing from Sangal. Samey, I'm going to say he might have lucky. Oh, hand spotted. Dead. Nanga's lucky. And he comes over as a little bit of post-death damage on towards X-File, but it doesn't make a difference at all. 11-9. 2 rounds ahead of Sashi. 2 rounds away from the map and the series. And still flawless in this second half. Sangal just cannot do anything wrong. And on the other side, it's just one of those where everything is going wrong towards Sashi. They can't seem to even buy around.
Lucky. Trying to force something. The flash is too good. Again, Sangal. Very well read. They know the playbook. They know what bits of aggression are common when, you know, you're sort of down and out. Jota's crept in, finishing it off. Sangal, this is just brutal. Really is. Reading them. They read the B aggression last time and then just able to abuse the bomb sites. So much confidence in their individuals. So much confidence in their reads. And it is brilliant. Cabby alone. It will be a save. It will be a 12 for Sangal.
It's true. And it's Sangal who are deservedly about to close us out, it feels. I mean, wow, what a display. Time and time again, making these rounds stick, giving themselves a lot to work with, and just showcasing how good this core of players are. I mean, LNZ has been incredible all the way throughout. X-Cloud, you know, we highlighted him, and he has been fantastic too. There's so much to like about this team, and we're seeing it all here. Brilliant displays coming through. Sashi, final round potentially. And you just look at the investment. They're going to have rifles out in some cases, but somebody's got to take a hit here with either like a FAMAS or an MP9 if they want a full builder utility, and it feels very needed as well. Unfortunately, I feel like they've just got to take that hit, and yeah, it's going to be Quez down to just an MP9 for him to have that belt of util. It's half-old predicament.
Yeah, really rough here. I mean, for me, I don't know that it necessarily comes down to the buy. I think it is just about, well, I suppose, you know, getting that opening kill, getting an exchange to go your way. Even here,
no.
Samey on the no-scope for 2 as well. Oh, my God. It's just spoken into existence, man. Unbelievable, right? They cannot catch a break. The flash is good, but he hides around the corner. A small bit of hesitation allows him to just get set up and ready for that. The second is a bit ridiculous, but even the first just speaks to the fact that there is nothing going the way of Sashi. 4-on-2. Mister is known about. He goes to an early grave, and it will be Iceberg left to ultimately try and soften this, I suppose. Yeah. At least make it difficult. Not going to happen. Youngster will find the final frag. Sangal net the 2-0 in absolutely ridiculous fashion, man.
Yeah.
That is incredible. 10 in a row from them. Not a single round dropped on their T side of Anubis.
Yeah, it's just insane. And I think it once again just solidifies how good this sort of Sangal T side is. If you just look at the T sides alone, they went 20-1 in this series. I mean, that is consistency. That's what we look towards. They just got to clear up the CT sides. It's as simple as that, because, you know, for Sangal, obviously, they had their big issues in both first halves. 9-3 down both maps, but they still win it out. 30-10 map number 1 and 13-9 map number 2. Incredible stuff from Sangal, but what happened to Sashi, I think, is the big question from us. What kind of a fall apart. This is a side who completely lost control of the game. They'll be kicking themselves, but I mean, that is never ever a good show. And to see a side just completely fall out of contention that quickly, very, very concerning indeed. But I mean, credit to Sangal, they punished the mistakes and they made sure that they snowballed well. They utilized the T side and the way in which they set the tempo, and they're the ones who kind of dictate the pace of the game. But it was pretty woeful from Sashi. Just that how the second they went to CT side, which on Nuke especially is very favorable, they just couldn't do a thing.
Yeah, Nuke is definitely the rougher one. I think, though, it has to be said, the Sangal T side, so much belief in themselves, belief in the players. You know, we check in with xCloud there, and you can see, just kind of goes to show that The numbers are quite tight. The numbers are quite close. I think they start off
True.
very weak, but when they flip over, just sending it in, and so many of those rounds, particularly in like the key comeback moments, right, where it's sort of halfway through the comeback, could go either way still, and we're not feeling the Sangal victory quite yet. I think there were so many of those rounds where it's like, okay, 2 guys going this way, 2 guys going the other way, right? Like, it ultimately was just a number of different actions at once, and they were so confident in that, whereas maybe Sashi, the way that they play things is a bit more regimented, a bit more, this is the one idea for the round.
Yes.
We're going to do that. We're going to make that work. And unfortunately, when things flipped over, they just couldn't deal with the...
It's true.
Yeah, just all the different attacks happening, and really confusing to be on the end of. But Sangal have made that their game. They've worked on it really well. And again, the level of communication, the level of that unspoken coordination as well. The fact that they're just so comfortable with each other. They say, look, me and you were going dark. They don't even have to talk it over. We know who goes first. We know that I like to go for a late trade or whatever it is. They are so used to each other by now, and it's really, really looking good.
Yeah, no, exactly that. Exactly what we want to see. Not the end of the world as well for Sashi. You know, they will drop into a lower bracket, but it's fine. They still have chances to make runs. We saw Sangal make the lower bracket run, but it's a massive, massive showing. I think we may even have some sort of a bracket as well to potentially even show you that a lot of games are still going on. We're actually one of the earlier finishers in a sense. TSM took map number 1. Against 3D Max. 3D Max are currently 8-1 up on map number 2. So that one looks like it could be going all 3. Paravision are getting relatively close to 2-0 over Aurora, and 9 Panda same for them, looking very close with 2-0 over Zero Tenacity. So getting briefly, like there could be potentially an upside. Be looking about Paravision, maybe arguably 9 Pandas too, but Zero Tenacity have had their ups and downs. They play a lot of Counter-Strike, but not always successful. And on the other side as well, that 3 TSM game could be going towards 3. But that looks like we're going to be done and dusted for today. A wild game of Counter-Strike. What a showing from Sangal, and I guess what a showing from Sashi, but just not in a good way, right? What a complete crumble. Going 1-20 in your CT side rounds is never what you want to see on a game that is inherently CT sided. So you hate to see it, but Sashi, a lot that they need to fix heading in towards the next games. Not all doom and gloom for them, but definitely a lot they need to work on. That is for damn sure. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you all very, very soon. Take care.